All right, a quick Monday evening update for you. Let's go right to it because there is some new data coming in suggesting that the storms, not only this evening, Monday evening, will be stronger, but even into Tuesday. The Storm Prediction Center confidence is growing as well. So we're going to look at that. Let's start off with tonight here across the Central Plains. Also here across parts of Michigan, Indiana, even parts of Illinois. Some of these storms getting pretty strong, and you've really got to watch back here across northwest Colorado, parts of Kansas and Nebraska. And look, it's not a zero threat even further to the east. Also into parts of Michigan, Illinois. We talked about these areas into Indiana for a few tornadoes through the overnight. These storms here going across Lake Michigan will be influenced by the colder water. Imagine if that cold water wasn't there. So that is helping some with the stabilization, but still, a lot of this air will move here just to the south of the lakes, and that means I think we see storms keep going once we get even past midnight in some areas. These storms backing things up through the evening hours will pulse up here across Kansas into Colorado. Some of these will produce some tornadoes, some large hail too, and some damaging winds. And look how the storm threat continues into the overnight hours. Now we're into the early morning hours of Tuesday morning. This squall line and this one really is going to be tough to forecast out on these short-range models, but our area of low pressure starts to deepen here, and I think we will have these ongoing thunderstorms through the early part of the day, and that just sets us up as our large-scale synoptic or big-scale weather feature starts to take shape here. It's going to be this trough that's swinging through associated with this upper low. That is what we call a negatively tilted trough. It's tilting back to the northwest. You get that curvature here in the mid-levels. You get that low-level jet screaming in. And with that wind shear comes the tornado risk, and that will definitely increase as we watch this upper-level jet streak move through, heading into the afternoon and evening hours on Tuesday. The confidence is looking stronger on the models. That's why the Storm Prediction Center now increasing that threat here from southern Iowa into parts of Illinois for a decent risk for severe thunderstorms. This is a 4 out of 5. I don't want to make it sound like moderate is not much, but that's pretty high here. And then look, just because you're not marked, look at all of the orange here from Wisconsin down into central Illinois, central Missouri, as far west as most of Iowa, pretty much, and southern parts of Minnesota, and even this yellow area. That's the slight risk. It's the 2 out of 5, pushing as far east as Michigan. Primary threat tomorrow will be tornadoes and damaging winds, and wherever you get updrafts strong enough to support tornadoes, you're going to get hail. But look at this hashed area now. That is a significant tornado risk for a good chunk of Iowa, also over into Illinois and Wisconsin. And it's not a zero threat just because, again, I try to emphasize this. You may not be in the hashed area, but it doesn't mean you have a zero tornado threat, even here as we move into the overnight hours of Tuesday night. And a significant wind threat too. The problem is going to be that once these storms get going, they may start out as supercells as we move through, through the evening hours here into Iowa, Missouri, but then they'll start to line up in some areas, and that's going to cause bowing segments. Those rear inflow jets pick up, and that's going to be your damaging wind threat in addition to the tornado threat. Our low is now here. Here comes your squall line moving through 10, 11 o'clock. This is Eastern time, so take off an hour for Central. But you get the idea heading into tomorrow night, and then things do start to settle down overnight into early Wednesday morning as this drops to the south. How much will it settle down? Well, the short-range models from the NAM, also the HRRR, are trying to back things off, but really we still have this boundary laying here. So that will be our threat as we head into Wednesday as more severe weather fires up, probably somewhere here across Kentucky, Tennessee, as far south as Texas. And then look out here into parts of Ohio, even parts of Pennsylvania, for some strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, also on Tuesday, how about this? Northern parts of New England, even northern parts of New York, getting in on some severe storms. The main threat here will be damaging winds and hail, just because we have this linear wind shear. So as you go up in height, the wind speeds pick up. The storms have a tendency to lean. That evacuation occurs in the upper levels, just strengthening that buoyancy in the lower levels, and boom, there go your storms picking up into the evening hours. They could be strong through parts of Vermont, Maine. Again, they started off across New York, and then they settled down once we move past midnight. So very active across the country for the next couple of days. This big low lifts up into Canada as we head into Thursday. Some showers here, and then that front drapes out like this. It kind of keeps the active weather around through the weekend with showers off and on here with this stalled boundary. And look, cold enough still in the west for some snow in the mountains. Crazy weather here as we wrap up May and almost heading into June. So if you like this kind of content, I hope you'll subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thanks for those of you who have done so, and I'll see you next time. I'll have an update for you on Tuesday morning early.